Hello friends, welcome to my channel PTE Zone. I hope all of you are doing good and preparing well for your PTE exam. If in case you are not able to achieve a good score, don't give up. Just hang on there and keep on trying. You will eventually achieve your desired score if you follow the correct methods and strategies. Recently, I have been receiving a lot of emails with success stories from my subscribers, and they have been telling me that by following the correct methods and strategies, they have eventually achieved success and received their desired score. So, you should also not give up and just focus on the correct methods and work hard. Just remember that this is a life changing exam, so you should give it the required importance and put your best while preparation. Okay, so with this thought, we can start our today's topic. In this video, I will be sharing the strategies and methods for repeat sentence type of question in speaking part. By following these methods and strategies, you can easily score 90 in speaking section. Repeat sentence type of question may look simple, but trust me, it is extremely tricky, and if you don't prepare it with the correct methods and strategies, you will definitely struggle in the real exam. I myself had struggled a lot with this type of question in the first two attempts. So that's the reason why I am saying you should not ignore this section. You should focus on this section and prepare well for this section as well. In this section, you will hear a audio, short audio, and you have to just repeat the audio. So you will get around 10 to 12 questions of this type, and each question would be for 4 to 12 seconds long. So it would be a short audio. It would be just a single sentence, right? And it it can be between 8 to 20 words, so it can be a short sentence and it can also be a long sentence. So out of 10 questions, 2 or 3 questions are pretty long actually. So these are the difficult questions, and you may get the difficult question initially also. For example, if you have 10 questions of repeat sentence, you might get easier first, or you might get the difficult first. So there is no ordering between the difficulty level, right? So you have to be prepared with every type of difficulty level in this repeat sentence type of question. Okay, so let's see the scoring for repeat sentence. The understanding of scoring for this section is very important because it is different from the other type of question in speaking section. Here, content is for 3 points, whereas oral fluency and pronunciation are for 5 points each. In other questions of speaking section, content was of 5 marks, but in this one it is for 3 marks. So this is something which you should note down. Why this is important is that because it tells you that in repeat sentence also you need to make sure that you are fluent. So just because you have to repeat an audio, that does not mean that you can speak slowly and repeat. So you have to make sure that you are fluent, right? Other thing that is important to note from this scoring part is that it doesn't matter if you speak every word correctly. Obviously it matters and it will fetch you complete marks, but even if you speak just above 50%, you will get 2 marks, which is also not bad. So I always suggest that you should also in this section also you should focus more on fluency and pronunciation rather than the content. The best methods and strategies for this type of question is as follows. So the first and most important thing is understanding of the audio. So when you hear the audio, you should focus on understanding the meaning of that audio. You should not try to memorize each and every word that is spoken by the speaker. Instead, you should focus on the phrases and try to understand the meaning of that audio. According to me, the best way to memorize the given audio or sentence is by visualizing and by imagining. What I mean by visualizing and imagining is that when you hear a audio, so let's say when you are hearing a audio and the audio is about some speaker who is talking about a lecture. Let's say the audio is that I will have a class tomorrow after 5 p.m. So let's say you get this sentence in the audio. So instead of focusing on each word, when you are listening the audio, you just imagine that a professor is saying these words, right? And you are in a class. So if you imagine this way, you will be able to recall when you are about to repeat the sentence, right? So that's the right way of doing this question. Other thing is, you should not make any notes. For example, a lot of people, what they do is when they hear the audio, they try to note down each and every word of what has been said. So it doesn't work actually. I don't know, maybe it didn't work for me at least. I had tried in my first attempt. I tried to write very fast whatever the audio was saying, but it didn't work for me. Then my second attempt, I did a little more smarter thing by just writing the first letter of the first word that was spoken by the audio, but it also didn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is that because you are obviously in the exam situation, you are obviously tensed, and you, with one hand you have to hold your mouse and you have to click on next button, and with your, and you have to, with your other hand you have to also write and manage your notebook. So managing these many things, it becomes difficult, at least for me. So when I write, I am not able to focus on the real meaning of the text, so it didn't work out. So my suggestion is that you should also not focus on making notes for this repeat sentence type of question. So for this type of question, you should only focus on listening. When the audio start, you should just close your eyes and listen very carefully, and just imagine and make a mental picture of whatever is being said in the audio, right? Other very important thing is that when you are when you have when the audio is completed and you are about to speak, when you speak, don't stop in between. So as soon as you start speaking, it should be fluent. Since, as I mentioned before, in this section also you get marks for fluency and pronunciation, which are more than the content marks. So you should focus on fluency in this section also. So instead of breaking and speaking slowly so that you can think what was said by the speaker, you should, whatever you listen, you just speak it fluently, and as soon as you are done, just click next, right? So the thing is, you should not wait to press next button. As soon as you complete your complete whatever you have to say, you just press next. And obviously don't get nervous and don't get panic because you get 10 or 12 items of this type of questions. So even if you you screw up through 2 or 3 questions, or you are not able to repeat the sentence for 2 or 3 questions, doesn't matter. You can even score 90 with just by missing 1 or 2. But the important thing is, be fluent and whatever you listen, you should try to repeat that fluently and focus more on what you are listening and what is the meaning behind what is being said, right? So keep all these things in mind when you are listening and doing your practice. So you need to practice and follow the methods that I have told. So to clarify whatever I just mentioned, I will show you audio of repeat sentence type of question so that things become more clear and you can understand how you need to deal with this type of question. Okay, so first audio is like this.
I hope I can take early retirement before I'm 60.
So did you hear that? Okay, we'll just play it once more.
I hope I can take early retirement before I'm 60.
Okay, so the speaker here, he was saying, I hope I can take early retirement before 60, right? So when you hear this audio, you can just imagine in your mind somebody sitting in an office and he is saying this. So you can imagine a old person of around age 50 years and he's saying this, and he is just surrounded by big piles of files, right? So if you, when you are listening this, if you imagine this whole situation, and then you will actually understand the meaning. So when you will be repeating, it will be easy for you to repeat. The whole point of doing repeat sentence in this way is that it is a known fact that you can remember and recollect things that you have visualized or you have a mental picture of. That's the reason why I am telling you, when you listen to audio, you make a visual picture of that thing in your mind. So this will enable you to remember that even the long sentences and repeat it in a proper flow. Other thing that you have to make sure is that you don't stop in between. So for example, when we listen this audio, this sample audio,
I hope I can take early retirement before I'm 60.
so let's say you are repeating this and you repeat in this way. I hope I can take early retirement before I am 60, right? So suppose I do this in exam. So if you have noticed that I was able to repeat each and every word properly, right? But I had a lot of breaks in between. So what this will do is it will reduce my fluency score, which is, and as you have seen before, fluency is for 5 points and the content is for 3 points. So since I have repeated each and every word, so I might get I will get 3 points, but I will get less point in my fluency. So let's say I would get only 2 point in fluency. So my total score would be, and assuming I get 5 point in pronunciation, so I'll get 5 in pronunciation, let's say, and 2 in fluency and 3 in content. So my total score would be 10 in this scenario. But let's say even though I don't speak everything, every word, so let's say instead of when I'm repeating, I say, I hope I can take early retirement. So let's say I speak only this thing, but this is more than 50%, this portion, so I'll get 2 point in content. But with fluency, because I was fluent, I would get 5 points, and pronunciation, assuming I would get 5 points. So you can see now I will get 5 in pronunciation, 5 in fluency, and 2 in content. So my score would be 12 now, right? Which is more than my previous score. So that's the reason why I am saying you should focus more on fluency, right? I also have another sample. We can just listen it.
Next year I'm planning to take a sabbatical so that I can travel to South America.
Right. So in this audio, the speaker was saying that next year I can take a sabbatical so that I can travel to South America. So let's say when you're speaking, you forget whether he was talking about Africa or America. So you just say something, say Africa or say India or say China, anything. But don't stop and think, right? So the whole point is you should be fluent when you are speaking. Other most important, the last most important thing is that as soon as you finish your audio, as soon as you are done repeating, you should press next as soon as possible. If you delay pressing next, it will reduce your fluency point. Okay, so I will highlight the important points that I have mentioned in the video. First thing is fluency is the key in this section also. Content has less marks, so focus more on fluency rather than stopping in between and trying to remember what was said. You should just speak fluently whatever you remember, right? So even if you are not able to speak the complete sentence, it's okay. If you are able to speak at least the more than half, you are good to go, right? Other thing is, uh, if possible, try to imitate the intonation and the stress that the speaker in the audio had done, but don't don't especially focus on this thing, right? You should focus more on visualizing and understanding the meaning, right? Other thing is, when you start speaking, don't stop in between because you have to maintain your fluency all the time. So that's the reason why. Don't stop and think. When you start, just be fluent, stop, and then press next. So as soon as you are finished, press next button. Last thing, not last actually. So the most important thing is when you are listening, visualize, imagine, and understand. Try to memorize in phrases instead of different words. When you will when you will imagine, then you will be able to memorize in phrases because then you will be not focusing on each and every word. Other thing is, my suggestion is don't make notes. It definitely, it will, you will lose focus, you will not understand, and I myself have tried making notes. It didn't work for me. Maybe you can try if you are doing good and it works for you, you should do that. But for me personally, it didn't work, and I think um, I know it's your choice actually. If you feel comfortable making notes for this section also, you should do that. But my suggestion is don't do that because in exam it's like too much to handle, right? Other thing is when you are listening the audio, just close your eyes and listen with whatever you have. So just concentrate and listen properly and just visualize. That's it. So these are the key things, and do practice a lot. Um, Especially if you don't visualize things when you listen, you should practice that, right? So don't take this section lightly. It is very important because you get 10 to 12 questions, and you should do well in this section. In fact, this section also give marks to your listening section as well. So that's also one of the reason that you should focus on this section as well, right? So I am done from my side. I think I have told you, given you all the strategies and methods which will help you to score a 90 score in speaking section. uh, if you still have doubt, feel free to ask questions, doubt, queries, and provide your suggestions. Feel free to mail me at connect.pt@gmail.com. If you like this video, please do comment, like, share, and subscribe. It will motivate me to make more videos. Thank you.